Welcome, anime fans. I'm Anime Outlet.
What if Deku had anime's powers? Part 1. When Izuku was a child, his mom and dad took him to the quirk doctor. This is where he's told that he's quirkless. So now, as both his parents look at him in disgust, with Izuku not really knowing what's happening, as he drops his All Might action figure and starts crying. Inko thanks the doctor and picks Izuku up and puts him into the car after walking out of the hospital. From there, they drive to the forest and drop Izuku off in the forest and say, "Wait here, Izuku, we'll come back for you," as they drive away. That same night, Inko gets pregnant and ends up having Izumi, Izuku's sister. Now, with Izuku, he is crying sitting under a tree when all of a sudden he hears a snapping noise as he looks up only to be hit in the face with a very weird-looking fruit. His stomach growls and says, "So hungry," as he eats the fruit, and he passes out. He wakes up in a dark abyss and looks around to see very strange-looking people, but they all seem to look like him. But one has a tail, one is very short. He keeps looking around and says, "Who are you guys?" That's when one steps up and says, "We're you." "What do you mean?" Izuku answers as someone wearing a weird-looking cloth steps up and says, "There's thousands of different universes in this multiverse, each one having a different you, some being stronger than others. I am the strongest, as I'm the god of destruction in my universe. Well, technically I'm the second strongest compared to the angel over there, who just happened to be born one." Izuku, still confused, answers, "So why am I here?" That's when they all answer that he ate the anime fruit, and that caused him to go into his mind and see all the different versions of himself, who has the power of different animes. He's still confused as he says, "What do you mean, the anime fruit?" Now, that's when the angel Izuku steps up and says, "We will teach you the powers that we have, and some will give you theirs. For instance, that you over there, he's the king of the heroes. He eats a strange-looking fruit called the gum fruit. I believe that's the name of it. I don't know. He will give you that fruit so then you have the power." Izuku just says, "But why me?" It's when they say, "Because you're us. And you were ditched. Just like me." Jiren Deku says, as Izuku says okay, where they decide to train him. His mind ends up shifting to where he wakes up, but he can still see them, and they can still tell him what to do. Izuku ends up learning from Jiren Deku, from Legendary Super Saiyan Deku, from Luffy Deku. He learns from Ghoul Deku. He learns all these different things as he gains their power. He's going to basically be insanely overpowered, but I will try to sort of shift things to make it a lot harder for him, basically. So, Izuku continues to train with them until he's very clearly overpowered. He may not be the strongest, but he still is very strong. He has Ultra Instinct. He can become a legendary Super Saiyan. He knows the Kakai. He has the Gum Gum fruit. He can become a ghoul if he wants and have a Kagane. He is very strong. So he ends up spending the next couple years training, as he knows that the UA entrance exam is going to happen. Izuku knows that the UA entrance exam is going to happen sometime, but he just doesn't know when. So when he turns 15, he goes out into the world. This is basically kind of like the Jiren What If, where he lived in the forest, and kind of like What If All Might was Deku's dad. So Izuku wanders off into the world. He ends up finding UA and just decides to hop the fence. Now Izuku is 16, and remember, he hasn't been in school for 4 years. I mean, he still had access to Angel Izuku, who could teach him. So he still knows some things, but he doesn't really know basic manners and when to knock. So he just hops the fence as the alarm sounds, as he just starts looking around. Says, so this is UA. How long has it been? 12 years since I've saw a picture of it? Well, cool. He continues to walk up until he sees that 3 doors at the entrance. He just looks at it and says, so maybe I should go in the first one? He opens up the first one and starts to walk in, as he sees random students looking at him like he's some type of monster or villain, as he continues to walk around. Now, Izuku is kind of short, but also has a tail. The reason he's short is because he's also the Sin of Wrath. And I just want him to kind of be like Meliodas, because why not? But he ends up walking around as he sees a bunch of people cowering back, as the hallways are almost empty. He continues to walk until he gets to a room called Class 1A. He opens the door and just says, so this is Class 1A. I have no clue what that means, but cool. As he just goes down and sits down on the floor and decides to take a nap. When he wakes up, he sees he's surrounded by random people, as they all look to be on guard. He just says, so why are you guys on guard or something? They're like, shut up, villain, as All Might bursts through the door and goes for a punch, only to have Izuku very easily dodge it and be like, whoa, why are you guys trying to kill me? I'm not doing anything. Now, they don't really believe Izuku when he says this, as All Might continues to try and punch him, as Izuku just jumps up and continues to dodge All Might's attacks till he dodges one and neck chops All Might, knocking him out, as he just says, what's up with that guy? Probably had some pretty messed up childhood if he's like that. I really shouldn't be talking though. I was abandoned when I was 4 because I was quirkless. As the teachers are like, wait, how could you be quirkless if you just knocked out All Might? All Might. I remember that name, but I don't really remember what it's from. All Might. Nope, no clue. They're like, what do you mean no clue? You have to know All Might. He's the number 1 hero. Izuku just points back and says, that guy? The number 1 hero? Well, looks like I just took his job because I easily beat him. So what am I supposed to do now? I mean, all of the heroes are still on guard as Midnight decides to get a good idea and releases her sleeping gas, which Izuku senses this using his key as he immediately plugs his nose and says, "You really think that's gonna work?" As they're like, "Yeah, you'll have to breathe sometime." Izuku just says, "I've been training for years. I can hold my breath for a huge amount of time. So good luck, because I don't see any gas masks with you guys." As he continues to hold his breath, as he slowly sees teachers start to fall. And remember how I said Izuku has a sister Izumi? For the sake of the video, she was not born she was actually born the same time as Izuku. I know I said something otherwise at the start of the video. She was born the same time as Izuku, but was hidden from him as they always thought she was smarter and stronger. So Izuku continues to walk until he opens the 1A door to see a very weird looking rat. He looks down and says, "What the hell are you?" As the rat speaks and says, "Well, I'm Principal Nezu, and you just broke into UA. You have two options. You can either become a student here or go to jail." Izuku just shrugs and says, "I guess I can become a student here? I mean, I have no real place to live. You guys got those?" Now, at this point, Nezu just like, "Yeah, we'll build some, I guess." As he immediately goes, wakes up Cementos, and makes him start to build the dorms. After this, Nezu just takes Izuku into his office, gives him a uniform, and says to wait till tomorrow, as once it's tomorrow, he can have his first day of school. Even though that Class 1A already had 2 weeks of school. The next day comes as Izuku walks into the class wearing a uniform, as all the class looks at him and says, "Who's that guy?" Aizawa says he's the guy who broke in yesterday. Nezu offered him to be a student here, so he's a student now. Be nice to him. Izuku just looks around until he sees Bakugo, and his face immediately gets serious. All the classmates just look at it and like, what beef did he and Bakugo have? Until Izuku runs up to Bakugo and says, "Bakugo, it's been so long. How powerful have you gotten? I want to challenge you to a fight." Aizawa puts his capture gear around Izuku and says, "Whoa, you're not fighting any of the students after you easily defeated All Might yesterday." Now, from this, Bakugo just looks shocked. How could that quirkless Deku beat All Might? Izuku's face once again gets serious and says, "So, my dumb piece of crap parents told you that I was quirkless. That's really sad, isn't it? After they abandoned me in the woods, it's quite sad. And since I'm quirkless, their whole society's not going to care. They just had to say I was quirkless and went missing, and nobody would look for me." That's when he sees someone who looks like him, but a girl sitting behind Bakugo. He whispers it to the teacher, "Who the hell's that? She looks like me." That's when Aizawa asks for Izuku's name, and he says, "Oh, Izuku Midoriya." That's when he says that her name is Izumi Midoriya. As the whole class is wondering what's he talking about, as Izuku walks up to Izumi and says, "So, you're my sister, huh? I'm guessing our parents thought of you as not a failure. You probably have a strong quirk, don't you? May say something having to do with the telekinesis and fire? And perhaps you've grown up just like Bakugo, arrogant and egotistical. You're probably just as bad as him." What a shame. Really thought somebody from our family could actually be useful, but I guess not. I also sense the same power that All Might guy has within you. So, if I were to put things together, I would say he gave you half your power. What's it called, Part of stories is called All for One, who fought All Might. So his quirk could possibly be one for all, something that could transfer from person to person. Am I correct? Izumi is obviously shocked by this, and same with all the teachers, Nezu and All Might, listening to the whole conversation as they're like wondering, how the heck did he figure that out? Is he some sort of villain or something? That's when Nezu says, he's strong enough to beat All Might. If he was a villain, he would have killed everyone by now. They just say, good point, as is the whole class is shocked. All Might gave Izumi her half her power, as they start crowding around her saying, is it true? Is it true? Zuko just says, of course it's true. I never get something wrong when it has to do with ki. They look at him and say, wait, what's ki? He just says that ki is basically the life force of all living things. And if I were to guess, Aizawa was hiding something from us. Aizawa just says, correct, we're going to the USJ today. Put your uniform, or put your hero costumes on. Zuko, you didn't design one, so I guess just put something on that you have. Zuko gets out a gi and puts that on. Now, after that, Izuku walks out with the rest of the class onto a bus. Once on the bus, they end up walking around inside the bus as the bus continues to drive to the USJ. Once around the midway point, Izuku gets serious once again and says, somebody's planning an attack, and one of us is a traitor. Now, this obviously gets people scared, as he says, I don't see gloves or feet, but I can sense an extra person. Possibly an invisibility quirk, huh? Why did they decide to take their costume off? Interesting. Very interesting indeed. I'd say the girl known as Toro Higakure. I know all your names because Nezu told me. But that girl, the invisible one, correct? I say she's the traitor. She's invisible, and none of us can see her. So, where is she? I can obviously sense her, but she's not on this bus. She's inside the USJ with the thousands of different keys, possibly villains. The USJ is being attacked right now. Well, not currently, but once we do arrive, we will be being attacked. Now, Aizawa just looks at him like he's an idiot as they walk into the USJ, getting off the bus. They talk to 13 and walk in. However, once they get inside, to their surprise, Izuku was correct. They were being attacked. And wouldn't you know it, there is a girl with gloves and feet standing in the middle of it as Izuku just says, called it! As everyone just looks at him and says, what do you mean called it? It's like, well, can't you guys see that Toro girl right there? One with the gloves? Yeah. But she's invisible. How can you see her? Zuko just says, oh, I have my ways. Now, this is when a full-on fight between Aizawa and the villains would have broke out, but Izuku decided to stop Aizawa from going down and just says, let me handle this. As he drops down, as his hair becomes white, as some sort of aura goes around him with his eyes becoming silverish. He immediately drops down and dodges a bullet from somebody with a gun. He continues to... He beats up most of the villains, easily dodging their attacks and knocking them to the ground, or just simply knocking them out. So, once he defeated the whole army, what's left would have been the Nomu. So, Izuku sees the Nomu and just senses a very small key. Something that could only come from somebody being perhaps brainwashed, manipulated, or brain dead. So, as soon as Shigaraki yells for the Nomu to kill the kid, as it charges at him, Izuku instantly knows he has to put the Nomu out of his misery. So, he flies towards the Nomu as the Nomu charges at him as well, as Izuku reels back his fist, has some sort of flowing ball of air, which I believe is a Rasengan, in his fist as he jumps up and flips around as his hand has some electrical thing, a Chidori, puts both of them together and slams it into the Nomu, frying it instantly, killing it. Shigaraki is shocked at how the Nomu was so easily defeated as he charges at Izuku saying, "I'll kill you!" However, Izuku easily dodges it and says, "Oh, you'll kill me, eh?" It's not going to happen, as he neck chops Shigaraki and was about to grab him only to have Shigaraki go through a portal. The class praises Izuku for saving them, only with Bakugo and Izumi just muttering under their breath how they should have been praised for saving them, and they should have been the ones to save them, as that quirkless Deku shouldn't have done anything, and how could he have done something? Now, that's where I'm going to leave it off, guys. I know I said 30 minutes, but this is a pretty good video. It's around 22 minutes, and I believe if I did a 30-minute video, I'd obviously have less parts to make, which wouldn't be too good. That means more ideas have to flow in, which is obviously pretty hard to do. And I thank you all for watching. We're very close to 3,000 subscribers. Once we are around 25 subscribers away, I will probably start a 3,000 subscriber live stream and see if we can hit 3,000 subscribers during that live stream. And I might be playing some random game like Minecraft, Fortnite, Terraria. I don't know what you guys want to pick. So thank you all for watching once again, and goodbye.